guys, and how's it going? Been a little while since you guys have seen this one on the channel. For those of you who are new, this is my 1968 John Deere 112. This is the one that, how many years ago was it? Oh my God, it's been about 3 years. 3 years ago, I bought this tractor. It had been sitting for about 20 years in one of those barns where the front of it's open but the rest of it's closed. It also sat next to another 68 112. It was a hydraulic lift. Same thing as this, all except for that one had hydraulic lift. Had a Tecumseh HH100 engine on it. I still have the engine, but it's pulled apart. Not sure why the tractor was parked, but I've started to gather up an idea as to why I think it was parked. 3 years ago, we got this tractor running. It originally had a Tecumseh HH100, the worst engine I have ever dealt with. I have a bad reputation with HH100 Tecumsehs. I'm sure you all probably know. Hell, even Tecumsehs in general, I have a pretty bad reputation with, as you guys can see. And then we come back here and there's two more. So I've gotten rid of all my Tecumsehs and I'm going Kohler. I like Kohler engines. I don't care for Predators all that much. I don't care for, well, Briggs are decent little motors, but I don't care for them much neither. I don't care for Predators, but these two came in on a trade deal recently and I'm going to see if we can get them running. I'm going to make a video on that here soon. I ain't done it yet. Neither one of them currently run. Anyway, so we've gone through, how many engines have we gone through? We've gone through 3 motors on this, 3 Tecumsehs on this tractor. We went through, the first Tecumseh blew the camshaft. I'm still not sure why it blew the camshaft. The second engine pissed oil everywhere. It would not hold oil. I had pulled that motor completely apart and rebuilt it. Replaced all the gaskets, replaced the piston rod, replaced the rings. Replaced all the gaskets, replaced all the seals, replaced all the breather assembly. Put it back together and it still blew oil everywhere. So that one was gone. There was another Tecumseh engine. Actually, it might have been on the round fender. Come to think of it, I think that one was on the round fender, so I'm going to skip that one. So it's only gone through 2. Previously, this had a 10-horse Kohler on it. The Kohler was kind of wore out. It came off of a 1971 John Deere 112. That 112 also came with an extra engine, which went on to my 72 112 that I sold. I probably should have kept the extra engine and sold, well, I didn't plan on selling the 72, but I guess I should have kept that extra motor and put the one off the 71 on that tractor and sold it. That motor off the 71, originally it ran pretty damn good there for a while. It ran real well, and well, it always burned oil and had a little bit of a smoking problem, but other than that, it ran pretty good. And then after about maybe 6 months, something like that, it started to burn oil a little bit worse, and it really lacked power, and it really got hot really fast. I did pull all the tins off of it, and it was clean, so that wasn't the problem. It did spin a mower deck over pretty good, though, so I was kind of surprised with it, but it really, really, really lacked power. You would get into, I never really mow with this tractor. I was testing it out to see what it would do, because there was one time every once in a while, I do take a tractor out and mow with it. The 216 is my dominant mower, because the 216, you throw a mower deck on this tractor and it runs so much better than it does without the deck. So I just leave a deck on it, and that's the one that goes out and mows. But every once in a while, I'll go out and mow with a different tractor, such as the 208. The 73, I don't. The 73 does not mow at all. it's been barred from mowing. Because every time it mows, it has nothing but problems. Patio goes out and mows. That one mows pretty damn good. I've never mowed with the 110. I still need to do some adjusting on that PTO setup. Once I do, maybe we'll try mowing with it. That tractor we built almost a year ago. I know it's been a little while since we started on that project, but we built that from the frame up. And then the round fender I've never mowed with. The Cub I have mowed with, but the Cub, it's got the coil problem. It's got one of them bad. It's got a coil on it. It gets hot. When that coil gets hot, it quits. So that's the problem with that. That's why that one doesn't mow. And then recently I tried mowing with it again and that PTO slips. I don't think it's tight enough. The PTO on that's a little bit of a pain to adjust, so I've just left it alone for now. So then after the 10-horse Kohler decided that it was time to die and just completely started to lose power no matter what, even just driving the tractor around, it lost power. Which I'm starting to wonder if the head gasket on it's blown, because I did notice some carbon when I pulled it out of the tractor. The head gasket might be going on it. If the head gasket goes on it, I'd probably just rebuild the whole motor. Not rebuild, I'd probably replace the rings and all the gaskets and all the seals and everything and go over it and do a rod and other stuff. Just make sure that it's in line, because that motor, I think it just needs rings and a head gasket and seals, and it should be pretty good. Don't leak. Might have to check maybe when I pull the head off, I'll check the bore on it. It's currently on my patio, the one that I restored in quotes. This engine was supposed to go on the patio, but it ended up on here. The engine that is on this now is a Kohler K301. It is a rebuilt 12-horse Kohler. It was originally going to go on the patio. I had this engine rebuilt about a year ago. It sat around here for the longest time after it was done being rebuilt. It was a basket case originally when I bought it. It came with the 72-112. It needed board at that time. It was a mess. So got that all board done, taken care of by a local shop. They said that they would do it for me, so I let them do it. They did that, and they did the valves and everything for me. They brought it back and the valves and everything was in it. I just had to put the crank back in it, the cam back in it, and put it all back together from there, which wasn't hard at all. So that's the motor that's been on here, this 12-horse rebuilt 12-horse Kohler. It really, for whatever reason, seems to lack power. I need to look into it a little bit more. I'm starting to wonder if the points need to be adjusted or something like that. I don't think it's carb related. You throttle it up all the way with the mower deck on, and it runs like it's at half throttle. You throttle it up from here, and you get right around right here, and it just stops. Then you keep throttling it up, and it just stays at that RPM. So I'm starting to wonder, it's definitely got something wrong with it. I have adjusted the valves. The valves are adjusted where they should be. Everything on the engine is where it should be, so there should be absolutely nothing wrong with it. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. So today in the video, now we're 9 minutes and 30 seconds into it when we should be not this far into it for the beginning. Today in the video, we are going to basically go over the 68 and we are going to fix it up. It needs a lot of help. I was talking about the reason why I think it was parked. The reason I think this tractor was parked 20 years ago, 23 years ago actually, is because the transmission back here is gone. It's there and it does work, but it holds itself in gear. You put it in third or fourth gear, you're in fourth gear and you're riding around the yard. You push the clutch and go to take it out of gear and it locks itself in gear. And you can see how much play it has in fourth gear, how much play it has in third, reverse, neutral. Sometimes it don't even, there it goes. See how much play it has in second gear? And it's right here is neutral. This is second gear. That's all the play you have in second gear. This is neutral between, it doesn't even, second gear, see? It should not do that. And then it doesn't even, it's in first gear. It is in first gear, but see? And it does, it at least clicks out of reverse. So, but yeah, this transmission's wore out. When we first pulled it apart, it looked like it had been in a hayfield. So I'm wondering if a farmer owned it before me, and he must have abused the poor thing. Because as you guys can see, the transmission, it's wore out. It'll hold itself in gear. You gotta mess with it for it to come out of gear sometimes. So the poor thing, it needs a lot of help. So I figured maybe we'll go on ahead and go over it, and we'll do the transmission. We'll go on ahead and get that replaced, and we'll do the, I gotta swap that shifter lever over to the new transmission. And then we'll go over it. We'll pull the front end apart. We'll grease it up real good. We'll pull the wheels off of it. We'll grease the bearings up real good. We'll pull the front end of it off, and we'll grease that. What's that called in there? I want to say bearing, but it's not a bearing, a bushing. We'll grease that bushing up real good, or that bolt, whatever you want to call it. Then we'll go underneath of it. We'll grease everything up under there. We'll grease up all the grease fittings and everything on here that needs to be greased. Just give it a good once over and go over it real good and clean it up. Then after we get this tractor done, my friend Mike Starcher, he has a YouTube also. He asked me, I need to get into the 68 or the 73. The rear axle bearings are gone. They are out, and it grinds and makes all sorts of noises, but it drives around and runs okay, and it does leak in the rear end also, but it runs around and drives okay. So those axle housings, I'm going to change them with the ones on the 68. Now I know that you can get bearings and stuff for them, but I thought, you know, I've got those in there. I can take those off that transmission and put them on here, and then that problem's all solved. And then after I do that, that should save it for a little while, and then later on take these housings apart and put new bearings in them, put new seals in them, and then maybe later on down the road when those axle housings go bad too, I could take them off and put the housings off this transmission back onto it. He asked me if he could be here for that. He used to own this tractor before I did 2 years ago. Well, yeah, 2 years ago. And he asked, actually 3 years ago almost, because I got this right after I got the 68 just about, so it's almost been 3 years. So 2 years ago he owned it, and he did some transmission work on it before me. He replaced a seal in it because it leaked pretty bad in the rear end. So he asked me if he could be here to help me out, to help out with that, and also relive, just for old time's sake, and since he did it before, just to do it again, because he said he really enjoyed it. So that's what we're gonna do. we are going to take the housings off of that transmission, put them on this transmission, and he's going to be here to help me out with that. We're also going to take the 73 apart also, and we're going to clean it up real good. We're going to grease it up and everything. I don't know what all he's going to be here for. I think he's just going to be here to help me out with the transmission, and that's it. So this I want to get taken apart by myself. I'm going to get the 68 done and taken care of. I didn't really want to do it. It's been about 2 months that I've been telling myself I need to come out here and do this. But I've just never wanted to bring myself to do it. And if you've gone by my house, I'm sure you've seen this sitting out on my pad for the past 2 months. I brought it over here when I was first going to do it, but of course I never did. This is the tractor that transmission's going to be coming out of. It's an 80s 200 series. I don't exactly know what year it is, but it's got the later front axle on it, so I'm guessing 80s. It might even be 70s. Somebody just swapped a different front axle onto it, or maybe just those spindles. Again, I'm not sure. So that is the transmission that is going to be going into the, I gotta latch this door, 68. And then after that, transmission's in the 68. I don't know what I'm going to do with this transmission. I was thinking about taking it apart and finding out what's wrong with it, so maybe I'll end up doing that. This transmission does have brand new fluid in it. Not brand new, it's brand new for about 2 years now. It's about 2 years old. So when I first got it, I put new fluid in it. I need to put well, there's a few of them around here I need to put new fluid in. So I guess that is going to be it for the rambling. We are into this now 17 minutes. So let's go on ahead, and I don't know if we're going to start with that tractor or this tractor, getting the transmission pulled out. We got to pull the fender pan off. You don't really have to pull the fender pan off, but I'm going to, just because there is a few other things underneath I need to do. And I'm also going to take that mower deck off of it. Got a new phone recently. It films a lot better than my old iPhone 6. I've had that iPhone 6 forever, and it's recently started, it has recently started to quit. It's been slowly going bad, and we switched from Verizon to Cricket Wireless, which I advise you guys do. I'm not sponsored by them, but I like Cricket. Cricket's a pretty good company. The people at the place we went to the other day are very nice, very jokative, very funny. So go check them out. But Cricket Wireless canceled their support for the iPhone 6. So I had to upgrade. So I got a new phone. Hopefully this phone films a lot better than my old phone. I know that 6 didn't film very well. It filmed pretty decent and took pretty good pictures, but the microphone on it sucked. So hopefully the microphone on this phone's a little bit better. I don't know if I'm going to end up using it at all in this video, but I might, we'll see. I don't know if this is going to be a 2-part series. I know that the 73 is going to be a different video, just because I really don't want to put all that in the same video. I'd like to do 2 different videos on it. Maybe we'll do the 68 as its own, maybe part 1, part 2. Then we'll do the 73. The 73 can be part 1, part 2. Part 1 can be getting the axle done, and part 2 can be taking it completely apart, greasing it up, putting it back together. We're going to do the same thing we did on the 216. And then the 110, I need to pull the 110 apart and get nothing major needs to be done with it. It just has the wrong rear plate on it. I'd like to swap that rear plate. It's got a 200 series plate on it, and I would just like to get it swapped. As you guys can see, it's got the wrong plate. So I'd like to get that plate swapped. That's nothing major. I might add that into this video. I might add that into the next video. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. It just depends on when I do it. Not in a big rush to do that, but I figured since we're screwing with transmissions, we might as well do that. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to drag that other tractor in here. So let's go on ahead and get that done. Then we'll get into the transmission swaps. skip ahead. We've got that transmission that's going into the 68. Took it out back and washed it. I just did that off camera to get it done. Everything with this transmission is all done, ready to go. Transmission's pulled out of the 68. It's still sitting in there right now. I think next thing on our list, we need to take this shifter off and then put that shifter on here. And then brake assembly, we got to put this into that tractor. And after that, everything should be all set and ready to go. I also pulled the fill tube off of that transmission. I'm gonna put it in this transmission. 68 had that, so it's still gonna have that. So let me grab the stuff I need. We'll get that out of there and put that tube in, and also we'll look at the fluid, see how it looks. Let's see how much fun this is gonna be. The transmission is still in the wagon. I have the wagon hooked up to the 208. I've been using the 208 lately. I've been leaving it set and just decided it was time to start using it again. So 208's been putting in its work. So it gave me its 2 weeks notice, but I wasn't going to accept it. It smells okay. Grab something to put in there and check that fluid. I think if it shows up on the screwdriver, we should be down there pretty far. There's a gear. Trying to find somewhere there's not a gear. Oh, look at that. It's got fluid. Smells okay. It looks okay. So I think we'll just go with it. It's full. It's got fluid in it. That's the major thing I was worried about, was it not having fluid. Yeah, I'd say it looks okay. So we'll go on ahead and we'll get that swapped. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Usually people test the transmissions to make sure they're good. I'm like Vice Grip Garage and all them others. I didn't check this transmission. I don't know if it's any good or not. Oh shit, that tube might not fit. Is it gonna fit? Good. I was worried about that. But I'm like them. I didn't check it. More than likely I'm not going to until we get it in the tractor. Then we're gonna have problems. I don't know how this is supposed to face. I'm just gonna put it in there until I'm having it face straight up. Which would be right there. There we go. That should work. So, what else? This needs to come off. I was worried that the tube wouldn't fit. Going back there to grab a wrench, and I saw a couple crickets walking back there. I like to listen to them, but when I'm filming, not really. I do listen to them, but they give me some points. Now I've heard this before and I don't know how true it is, but supposedly if you have crickets, it's a sign of good luck. If they're in your building or in your house, it's a sign of good luck. So I'm just gonna go with that. I've heard it, but I've never tested that theory. I've had crickets in the shop before, and I like to listen to them. It gives you something to listen to while you're filming because you can't listen to the radio. And it doesn't feel too quiet in here when the crickets are chirping. It's got blue Loctite on it. The one that we pulled out of when we took the 110 apart, I don't remember it having, well, we took that transmission apart and ended up putting it in the 110. I don't remember those having Loctite on them. They might have. How much fun is this going to be to get off here? Yeah, this is something I've been needing to do probably ever since I've owned that 68, but I finally decided it's time to do it. It's got a brand new pretty much engine in it, so might as well go ahead and do the rest. This one's going to be a pain, I can tell. I'm going to make my own gasket for it. I know it's supposed to have a gasket. I'm going to make one for it. I might not put a gasket. I don't know, we'll see. It all depends on what I'm thinking. I did on the 110 though, just to keep moisture out of it. Grab something to hit that with because it's not coming off. Ready? Went in there and grabbed my adjustable beater. There we go. Cool. Yep. So we will go in there and we will grab that one. Get that surface cleaned up and prepared for it. I really don't want anything in that transmission, but I have a bad feeling we're going to get something. I guess we're going to go for it. We'll stuff this in here. That way nothing goes in the transmission. There we go. Go grab a wire wheel and we'll clean that up. Went in there and grabbed a wire wheel. Let's see what we get. I can't tell. No, I don't like this wire wheel. Somebody out there needs to do a competition and they need to make the prize a lifetime supply of wire wheels, because I could definitely use one. towel or something else I can put in there. That just went way too fast for me. Let's try this guy. Maybe this Ziploc will hold on better than that. Of course you want to stay away from it, but you can't. Decided I would just use sandpaper and Scotch-Brite because that's not working. We got everything up, so I guess now what we'll go on ahead and do is we'll get that other transmission pulled apart, get that shifter lever off there, clean it up real nice, make a gasket for it, and then after we make a gasket for it, we should be good to go. So I'm going to go on ahead and do that, and after I do that, we will get to it. And with the magical powers of editing, there we go, now it's ready to be put on. let's go on and test out this transmission and see how it does. I did put the clutch pedal back on it, so we should be able to stop it. Gotta get on. Here we go. This feels funny. Ready? Let's see what we get. That clutch is nice and tight. Let's take it out there and see how it does. Let's see how it does. Be honest with you guys, it wasn't as fun as I was expecting it to be or uplifting, but it is nice to see that transmission does work and the tractor does drive now. It definitely drives a lot better than it did before. I need to tighten up the idler back here a little bit. I did put that spring on it from that 200 series, but I think that it's going to have to be tightened up a little bit. Well, it was fine, I guess. I do need to tighten that spring up though. So, I guess, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to do in this video. If I want to start a different video or just continue on a little bit for this one. There are still a few other things I want to do with this tractor. The battery light's flashing on the camera, so I'm going to have to let it charge. It is nice to know that the thing drives now, finally. Let the battery charge, and I guess I'll decide whether I want to do anything else or not.
And NBC News has obtained a letter from the Office of the Attending Physician to Senate leaders, encouraging them to implement a mask mandate on the Senate side as well. The CDC also recommending all students K through 12 wear masks when they return to school this fall, even the ones who've been fully vaccinated. And this morning, new research shows the Delta variant is linked to a rising number of breakthrough cases in fully vaccinated people. Those could carry a higher level of the virus than previously thought, increasing their risk of infecting others. And this very sobering warning. The coronavirus could be just a few mutations away from invading the existing vaccines.
As long as you get a lot of circulation of virus around among unvaccinated people, you give the virus a chance to mutate even more, so that you may get a variant that's worse than the Delta variant, that even the vaccinated people may not be able to handle.
Do these people even know what they're talking about?
Boy, we said this day was coming, right? Delta is bad. Knowledge is good. Delta is bad.
We got it.
And now they're talking about the vaccines. They're in total and complete meltdown. Now with 70 million.
So I would say pretty much out of everything that is going to end up being done with this tractor, we have probably got the hardest thing out of the way, which is the transmission. I think the rest of what needs to be done is pretty much just little simple things. We need to take the, we do need to take the spindles apart and grease them, put them back together, oil the ball joints and stuff like that. I do want to take the hood supports apart. I have a different muffler for it. This muffler is for a later 100 series, where the one that should be on it is an earlier 100 series. You can see it has the wrong muffler on it. The correct muffler should sit over here, so we're going to put the correct muffler in it. And I think for everything that needs done with the tractor, after we've greased the ball joints and done the front axle, pull the front axle, well, I don't know if I'm going to pull the front axle out of it or not. I think that might be okay. But other than that, well, actually, I think the only other thing that we really do need to do is the muffler, because it does steer pretty good. So well, we'll see, I guess. We'll see what I decide to do. So let's go on ahead and we will get the muffler. Well, you know what? I'm going to make this its own video because I know this video is pretty long. I'm going to make this its own video. Next video we will go over the 68. We'll check everything out, make sure it's all good. And after we've thoroughly looked it over, we'll grease everything and just kind of go over it and see what all it needs. Get it ready for another 3 years. Because I knew that transmission needed done, and I've put it off now for about 3 years. So we'll get everything else that needs done to it done, and then after we get everything done that needs to be on the tractor, we'll call it good, and it should last me for another maybe 5 years. And then in 5 years, I'll probably have to take it all back apart, re-grease it and everything, and put it back together. So I think that is just about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you all in the next video. Next video that we're going to do, we'll probably end up taking the front wheels off of it, checking the bearings and packing the bearings with grease. And then while we've got them taken off, we'll probably end up taking the spindles off, clean them up real good, get them all greased. And then take all the old grease out of them, put them back together, put new grease in them, re-grease them, probably pull the front axle out and grease the joint in the axle, the pivot point. And then I do want to go underneath of it. I want to look at the lift and everything under there and make sure the lift is good and everything else up there is good. So that should be it. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We got the transmission swapped, which is the major thing that I wanted to get out of the way. So now that we have that done, everything's all good for now. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully this transmission should last another 50 years like that one over there did. That one is about 53 years old. So 80-something% of you guys who watch my videos regularly are not subscribed. So please consider hitting that subscribe button. It tells me that you guys like what I do and you guys like to see these videos. It also tells YouTube that I do a good job and that I deserve more support. And they should share my videos around a little bit more than they do, because I know they don't. So, thank you guys for watching. I think that is it. Take care.